Oh, it's a good job I checked. Good job I checked. Good job I checked. Oh, it's a good job I checked. Yeah, so... oh, looks like we're short of power. Let me just... I don't think I have the right cable. Let me try plugging the pad in. I don't think it matters. We'll have power. We'll have power. We'll have power until the end. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing all right. Happy September 2024. Oh, let's set the mood. This is another bit of. This is another piece that stuck in my mind as a kid. You know, my dad used to play all these. I guess to us, they'll be foreign. To him, they probably reminded him of home. But he used to play all these foreign TV series, and I didn't much like him. Didn't understand what they were saying. It was a completely different foreign culture to me.
Good morning.
Yeah. How you? Oh, let me just bring up the chat. Let me see who said that. Oh, Iridium. Yeah, welcome, brother. Welcome. So, I'll just set a little bit of the mood here. Some of you might have worked out that I'm actually not playing music. What I'm doing is it's a mental exercise. It's a puzzle. I have a tune in my head and I have to play it out. It doesn't have to be the guitar, it could be any musical instrument. And the tune has to match, the tune on the guitar has to match the tune in my head. And obviously, it's a form of mental exercise. And to solve the puzzle, you have to play the tune correctly. So it's it's probably a strange reason to play a musical instrument, but that's one of the reasons why I do it. But those of you that are fans of Messenger Rising, one of the intros, when his introductions were really elaborate, the ones that, you know, the wild ones that I used to do, there's a clip at the beginning, you know, the ones that have these little, I think there's one of I can't remember, that Robin Williams film about the teacher, and then there's a clip of the Gladiator. There's a clip which some guy thought was of Raiden, but it wasn't. There's a clip there, and there's a man drawing a bow in the silhouette of the moonlight. This piece of music is from that TV series. Dates back 1983, but I spoke to some of the people who know about this TV series, and apparently, it is the fantasy superhero Marvel version they have over there. So, well, let me try and play it and see what you guys think. I hope I can do it justice. Like I said, it's from memory, and I only started solving this puzzle 2 days ago, just like all of them. Here we go. It goes like this, I think. It's not like that, is it? just cycles around, as you can see. Sorry, there's a couple of mistakes there. Didn't say I was good at solving the puzzle. But yeah, so I was watching, some of you probably have seen it, it's an old, in fact, it's a type of documentary that's getting more and more poignant. I watched the Japanese one, and it's the documentaries where people die, mainly old men, old and middle-aged men, and they have no next of kin. So they use very strange words in the US, county despo, and all these terms, very strange words. I think they've just made up for the purpose of office administration. But I watched the Japanese one. Obviously, the hikikomori, the Soushakuka danshi, they've got various terms for these men, and it is mainly men. I mean, let's talk factually here. I can't remember what the statistics are, but they featured only men on these documentaries or reports. Very difficult to tell now, because obviously when you watch these things you have to have a critical eye. You know, how much of it is edited, how much of the context is biased or obscured, but the phenomena of men dying with no next of kin, leaving behind all the property and affairs to be dealt with by the government or the local government, is becoming more and more of a more and more prevalent, and more of an issue, and more of a, how would you say, of a mainstream, of a normality in our society. So as I said, I was watching the Japanese one, and when you watch, when you're watching the foreign documentaries and reports, you sort of have this distance. You feel like, oh, that's happening over there, and you do have a sense of safety, like, oh, that's different to us, or that's not the same as over here. But when I watched the American one, and I did watch a British one, but the American one, I watched all of it. The British one was a bit boring. The US one, I could relate to a lot of the stuff the guys are going through. So one man, he died in his bed, and like I said, you've got to filter out, or you've got to critically assess what they're telling you from what actually happened. And obviously, you now listening to me, this is what I've deciphered, what I've summarized or surmised from what they told me. You guys, there's loads of them. There's loads of these reports and documentaries about people dying with no next of kin. And like I said, what struck me about the US one is how much of it I could relate to. So nearly all of them, or most of them, they had collected or accumulated items which didn't always or particularly have monetary value, but they had sentimental value. And I think when you get to 40, 50, you do sort of do things, collect things, or you value things more because of what they remind you of, or what you associate with them, rather than how much you can sell it for. Yeah, obviously, your business mind is always on. You always think how much it's worth. But these guys have collected, old photographs, little bits of reports, school reports, bits of paper, old bits of clothing, you know, oh, you know, stuff that normally you would throw away. And I think, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this, that the older you get, the more you don't want to let go of these things. The first guy they featured, he was obviously a homosexual, and I didn't work that out until they didn't actually tell you that he was homosexual, but you worked it out as they presented little bits of his belongings. He obviously had health conditions related to that. His partner died. The program said that his partner died. His boyfriend died of AIDS, and he died in a quite a humiliating way. That's something that struck me with all these deaths, particularly in the American ones. There were very humiliating deaths. The second guy, he slipped in the shower, cracked his head on the toilet bowl, was unconscious for a while, and then died. The third guy, he died from I don't think they were quite clear about what he died from, but they were all obese, they were all overweight, and they were all shut-ins, just like in the Japanese documentary. One thing that was clear was they were all shut-ins. They cut themselves off from the world. And really what I wanted to talk about is, how did they get to this point where they decided that nothing is worth doing, nothing is worth putting your energy or effort in, and nothing is worth buying anymore. I know how it is, guys. I know how it is. We've all been through rough financial time. Doesn't matter how much money you have or how little money you have. You never have enough for what you want to do, and you build up that mentality where you're afraid to spend your money. And these guys had and you must have heard it. You must have heard that Wall Street guy commits suicide after losing 90% of his portfolio, despite the fact that he's still a multimillionaire. He had $1 billion, now he only has $2 million.
Hi.
Yo, MA, how's life, man? So, these guys are killing themselves because $2 million isn't enough for them. But the guys featured in that I wanted to talk about, they had tens of thousands of dollars. One guy had $62,000 in his bank account. One guy, he wasn't rich. One guy was making, this was back in 2005, I think, this report documentary was made. One guy, he only made $250 a week, and he gave half of that to charity. He had a standing order of a direct debit to a homeless charity, and he donated half his paycheck. These guys, as you can imagine, probably in their 50s, early 60s, they really stopped looking after themselves, stopped exercising, stopped cleaning up after themselves. One guy had
ever resisting the doom.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. That's what I wanted to address. And I wanted to address the point, how these guys get to this frame of mind. There's a risk when you listen to the Manosphere, or when you listen to the old stuff, old conversations, that if you don't take the context, and if you don't, how would you say, assess its entirety, there's a risk that you can fall into despair. I talked about it in some of my past live streams. I call it the 4Ds. These 4Ds, which I think all middle-aged men fall into. And it's not a new phenomena. I mean, I used to hear, if you watch old 50s films, old 50s TV series, occasionally you'll pick it up from there as well. You know, they'll call it a midlife crisis. They'll call it they used to call it the blues back then. You know, a bachelor blues they used to call it. But I would take, or I would compare the. I won't put it mentality, because when you get older, you should generally you do get a bit wiser. You do accumulate a lot more experience, and hopefully you're a bit more intelligent. So that is not the problem. Being wise, being intelligent, that is not the issue here. There's something that's missing. Obviously, there's a difference between dying alone or nobody knowing that you died, and then dying in a humiliating way. Like I said, the first guy, the coroner said there was a trail of blood or shit.
Despair is the intended product. That despair bonds men to other broken men, and algorithms that keep them trapped.
That's not what we want, is it, guys? We don't want to trap you in this despair. We don't want to trap you in this downward spiral, I call it. And it is a cycle. There's a cycle of despair. Then you give up hope. Then you do less and less. You look for few and few opportunities. You start focusing more on the negative. And it's a constant spiral. And yet, maybe you could argue, well, it saves time, I'm just basing it on reality. But the reality is, these men were miserable. These men, the first guy, it turned out his brother had shot himself after a divorce at a very young age. I think his brother was like 23 or something.
You have to have purpose and be sure to reward yourself.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we say all the time. Purpose to reward yourselves. These are the codified ways. These are the processes with which you can address it. But I would compare the mind frame or the mindset of the elderly person, and compare that with the youth, with the very young preteen youth. They can be living in the same city, they can be even living in the same house, but so long as they
war and politics will not allow the red pillagers to cycle into a bit of serenity.
Culture war, politics, yeah. I think most of the guys around here, they know how to, or they're past that. They're past the culture and politics. I think they know how to critically analyze what's on the news or what they hear. They know how to internalize them, and they take what they need and they leave what they don't need. But no matter in what state you are, no matter what age you get to, I think there's that diminishment of wonderment. It's something I used to talk about right at the beginning. The young kid, he sees everything as amazing, or everything is new to him. He finds entertainment and joy even when there appears to be none to be found. He entertains himself. I'm not saying that's how we should live as middle-aged men. I'm saying that element is lost along the way. You've lost that interest, not only in the world around you, but in yourself as well. Obviously, these men that passed away, these men that cluttered all the memories around them and had abandoned all relationships and hopes of any improvement in their living and lifestyle. These men are completely, they were dead inside. And something I've always said is, your first death is the death of your spirit. And I think really, as many of you will know, that's how I would sum it all together. You've got to raise your spirits. You've got to find something to be enthusiastic about. It's a terrible day. Yo, SFM, nice to see you. I'm sure a lot. I mean, I know I've said this before. I used to work in a pharmacy.
Holiday 13.
Number 13. Yeah, they're all. Every day of the year, something's happened. You know, they could commemorate or commiserate any day of the year, really. So we're not too much on public holidays over here, except that we should try and make make the most of each day anyway. But yeah, that's what I wanted to address: this death of your inner fire, of your wonderment. You're not going to bring back your innocence, but there are ways. Like, for example, these men, one thing they all had in common was their nostalgia, from the Japanese men to the
is a psyop for us slaves.
from the Japanese men to the American men. Why not connect or develop your like that piece of music that I just played? That was something I heard as a kid.
American culture is terrible right now.
I think that could be said of all of the West, of all the West. It's not entirely the people's fault. I think if the people had a genuine say in what happened, in what's happening, I don't think there'll be military spending. I think there'll be a lot more homes built. I think the services would health services, leisure services would be a lot more accessible. I think there'll be a lot less stress. So, you know, that's something you can't. I mean, you can't separate the two. I mean, they're all connected. You know, culture, politics, government, society, they're all related. But you know,
has anyone seen the content referring to Hispanics replacing blacks? I don't think they realize that the current system will destroy their sea.
Okay, so the current system will destroy their culture in no time. There are so many single mother immigrants.
It marks the unofficial end of summer, but it's still hot outside. Stop having fun and get back into an AC office and make widgets.
I think that society. I think that model of work is slowly beginning to diminish. I think less and less people are up for that. Definitely this generation. I don't think they're gonna put up with working in a stuffy office, wearing the shirt and tie, saying good morning and all that bullshit.
I manage the systems needed to access widgets. On the soul dying, you can't beat death, but you can beat death in life, sometimes.
Yeah, who was it? Who was it that said, I'm not afraid of dying, I'm afraid of not living. I mean, there's all these great mottos, you know, get busy living, get busy dying, you know, don't go quietly into the dying light, into the silent. Yeah, peace, brother. Peace. So, yeah.
I make the equipment that makes the widgets. Human face with smiling eyes. Peace, brother.
I make the equipment that makes the widgets. Oh, they sent. Oh no, they put that up. It took its time to put it up. But yeah, don't fall into that trap, guys. This is why I'm always, you know, if we're friends, I'll always promote hope.
We need to make the equipment that is needed to make the equipment that makes the widgets.
Oh, I think MA and
I just woke up. Afternoon nap.
nothing like an afternoon nap to feel good. But yeah, I posted this video, this little TikTok video, and it's this old man. You must have seen it, Messi MA. Hopefully, you're paying attention to my WhatsApp. It's this old man, and he's lying in the middle of this big pond surrounded by lilies. He must be almost 70.
Hope is for simps. Real men are angry and sad. Naps are better as you age. I discovered them about half a year ago.
Nah, you got to nap. I think. I think you've got to build a lifestyle where you've got that luxury of napping. I think if you don't have that luxury of napping, I think you're more to what. I know you can't nap every day. Very few of us have that luxury. But
Mark, that is propaganda. You need to stop shilling for your handlers.
and you need to build that lifestyle where you are able to nap. Otherwise, I think life is too stressful. You're probably living an overly stressful life. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this old man. He's paddling in the middle of this pond, and he says life isn't that serious. He goes,
Home alive.
I wouldn't say that life isn't that serious. I would say don't take life that serious. You know, don't beat yourself up too much. Don't always be that person, that workhorse, that I've got to be here at this time. Yeah, we've all got appointments, we've all got duties, we've all got to do things. But I was reminded when I was thinking about this this week. This is something that I'm always thinking about, because obviously as I'm approaching 50, I've been telling people that I'm 50 for the past 5 years. I'm nearly 50.
I'll have a nap anywhere. People probably think I'm on drugs, but I like sleeping during the day.
I'll tell you what I like doing. I like walking to the park and sleeping on the bench. Or sleeping on the grass if there's nobody around, and if it's a sunny day. But yeah, I'm well aware that people might think I'm homeless, but I don't mind. It's just the fact that, number one, the air is much fresher outside than it is in. I don't care what house or what apartment or what AC unit you've got. The air is always much better outside because the air in your apartment is coming from outside. So it can't be better than that. You can't filter out the air from outside and make it cleaner inside, even if you've got a gas mask on. Your gas mask makes it a little less polluted. But generally speaking, you'll get better sleep when the air is a better quality, and you'll get better sleep when it's cooler as well. So yes, when I was thinking about this week, I was reminded of Monty Python and how these men, I think these men can teach today's modern men a lot.
Balance and Diogenes level.
What's this? So yeah, Monty Python can teach today's men and boys a lot, and that's
What's that?
Monty Python. Or what? You asking Emma? I don't know what Emma you meant by that, Diogenes level. But
Hush, how are you today?
but these were all middle-class, quite well-off men. John Cleese, Michael Palin, Eric. There were two Erics. I think Graham Chapman died. I think he died of AIDS, didn't he? But yeah, they were all middle-class. Oxford, Eton, very privately educated group of men, and they just saw how silly the system were. They saw how silly the system were, and they didn't want your 9 to 5.
Good, enjoying Labor Day in the US. Then off on a business trip tomorrow.
Labor Day. Yeah, I don't know about Labor Day, guys. In fact, when I'm at work, there's all these holidays, and they say, "Oh yeah, today's a bank holiday. Today's Easter. Today's St. Michael's Day. Don't come in." And I don't know about it. They give me a list. I wish I could show you this list.
Diogenes was a rebel Greek philosopher, slept in random places, didn't respect social conventions, founded cynicism and fun version of Stoicism.
I like that. I think I like this Diogenes. Have you spelled that right? Diogenes. It looks like it's spelled Diogenes, but it's probably pronounced Diogenes. 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 The word to voice is pronouncing it Diogenes. Yeah, but I think that's the way to go. Yeah, we've been through some shit. We've not been treated fairly. You know, there's probably a fair number of people and organisations that do owe us a lot. Trying to claim back what is rightfully ours will probably just add more and more collateral.
Diogenes.
We'll probably just add more and more collateral to the darkness.
Diogenes.
I'll look him up later. He sounds like a great guy. But yeah, you don't want the death of the soul, do you?
0.1 SFN.
You die inside before your body dies. But yeah, serious shit happens to us, but you've gotta have a light-hearted side to you as well. You've got to laugh at something. And I think that's why political comedy is so popular, because politicians are so dark and corrupted, and
That
probably
is
the
true.
worst.
The death of man happens well before he is buried. Diogenes used to keep the company of dogs and defecate in the street. He literally didn't give a shit.
I hope you read that, because YouTube has just removed Messenger's comment. By the way, I don't have any control about what YouTube. I've put free for all. I think everybody here I put as moderators.
It's a constant internal battle to stay alive. A man is at odds with the external as well as the internal.
Yeah, it's at odds. It is a conflict. Life seems to be an uphill struggle.
Shining censoring all his friends confirmed.
So a messenger said that Diogenes used to shit on the floor. I would recommend not doing that, gentlemen. At least bring a bag with you.
Claypot SFN.
Yeah, I would at least recommend you bring a bag, because obviously if you do a shit on the floor and someone steps on it, that's quite embarrassing for both of you. That's quite quite undignified, isn't it? So I would probably find a quiet place. I don't know, man. Every city I go to in the UK is a dump. I don't mind. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean,
Shitting on the floor is based.
yeah. I think that's part of Diogenes. If that's really what he did, that's part of his habits. Maybe we'll set aside, but definitely the attitude of the world is your home. Be
He begged for a living and often slept in a large ceramic jar, or pithos, in the marketplace. He used his simple lifestyle and behavior to see.
Okay, so he uses simple lifestyle and behavior to criticize the social values and institutions. I wonder what he'd make of today's social values and institutions. But yeah, guys, find something to laugh about. As I said, politics is probably the best thing to laugh about because these guys are such a-holes. These guys, and women, it has to be. I can't even believe people are still thinking
People
this.
don't understand why I laugh a lot when I stream. I do that to remind myself not to take things too seriously. He used to masturbate in public also. It
Right.
was his way of opposing social conditioning.
Yeah, we'll probably go to prison for that. If we do. So yeah, Diogenes. Let's just take his philosophy and not his habits. So somebody to have a glance at. Definitely not someone to emulate at this point. Anyway, it seems.
Has an interesting character who had interesting ideas. But shitting on the floor in 2024 isn't nice, so you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's a definitely
Likewise.
no. You're like RP.
It's like
I was
there
live, man.
always men finding ways to remove themselves from the society they didn't share values with.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. SFM made a great point there. He says it's always been like this. I think ever since society is formed into governments and governments formed legislation and there were societal norms, there's always been a conflict within, and I think the more modern society develops, the more this is the case. And you could argue that it's because man or people or government just don't know what they're doing. I can't remember who said it, but they said that he was talking about Western legal system. He says they don't know what will stop people from committing crime. They don't know what will stop people from being corrupt, thieves, sexually degenerates.
My dog shits on the floor. I don't judge her for it. Moral relativism, slightly smiling face.
Some dogs learn to some dogs learn to use their use their potty. I saw a cat use.
Rolling on the floor laughing face with tears of joy, rolling on the floor laughing.
I have seen a few videos of cats using the toilet and flushing it. So props to those pet
just
owners.
made my day. Good stuff, chaps.
So props to those pet owners. Something you learn about animals is they're not all the same. I don't mean dogs are not like cats. I mean just from each species. Like I was in the park, and obviously the squirrels started running up to me because they're cheeky in the park here. And I was eating some fruit, and I threw one of the pips at the squirrels because seeds, nuts, pips, stones, they're all the same. I don't mean rock stones. I mean the stones from peaches and from fruits that have hard seeds. They're all the same. Nuts, seeds, stones, pips. Something I only worked out a few years ago. They call them different words because of their uses, but basically they're all the center of a fruit from which the tree will grow.
Pips. Change your language immediately.
And I threw one of the squirrels, my pips, and he ate it. This little fella, he scoffed it up. He peeled the outer part of the pip, and he ate the little centre. And then another squirrel, he was standing. I could see him. He was standing at the edge, and he wanted to see how the first squirrel did. You know, he wanted to test the ground, see if I killed his colleague. And then when he saw that I was all right, you know, I'm offended. I like squirrels. And the second one came up, and I threw him one of the pips. He didn't want it. He carried on running around in circles.
Middies will not tolerate the usage of the word pips. New rule. Shining is a 70s child. We had pips back then.
And this second squirrel wasn't having it, so I thought. So I threw him the entire fruit. I threw him a cherry. I had a bag of different fruits. I'm just that kind. That's how I roll. I'm just wild like that. So I threw him a cherry. It was a very nice cherry, by the way, and not one of those cheap ones that they.
Gladys Knight and the pips.
I heard about Gladys Knight. I know my friend's dad used to listen to.
Oh no, two Brits talking about pips. What is the world coming to?
And that second squirrel just yammed up that cherry. So yeah, for the first squirrel, pips and seeds is fine. The second squirrel, he or she wants the fruit. Okay. So, another thing I learned is all birds can be taught to speak human language.
Cherry.
Yeah, he yammed up that cherry. Loved it, man. But
what incarnation?
But when have you seen a squirrel eat? When have you seen a squirrel eat timidly? You know, they either love it or they just leave it. But it was yeah. So that's what I did. That's what I did today. I was thinking about how your frame of mind can degrade, and that's why I'm always against skepticism or too much skepticism.
Yammed up the cherry. What language is this?
Welcome to the British American English channel. it might be more Yorkshire than mind you, Yorkshire is very, very, very British. I think the two main English groups, I would say, but I'm very biased. The two main English groups are Cockney and Yorkshire, and then you've got the Geordies and the Scousers. But definitely Yorkshire's the bigger area. The Cockneys are probably the more popular. There's probably a lot more Cockneys than the others. Yorkshire, well, yeah, Yorkshire has. You know.
Pips and pits are the same thing. I'm used to hearing pips. English is such a fine language, when one word can mean many different things.
Yeah.
The running pips developed English. Bloody wild. Exploding head.
The Scousers, that's Eastern England. That's Newcastle. No, that's Geordies. Geordies is Newcastle. That's East England. Scousers is West England. That's the area around Liverpool, Merseyside. Man, they would never have forgiven me in class for saying that.
Scousers. Now has just making up words.
Yeah, I wish I did. I like Scousers. I haven't met many Geordies, but the Geordies I have met, I do like. I think Cockneys are the hardest to deal with. I think the North and South divide is very real. The North and South divide. But Cockneys don't like each other. If you see how the Londoners treat each other, they hate each other. Everyone's, generally speaking, they're all out for themselves. Yeah, in Yorkshire, that wouldn't be tolerated. If you're, as I say, if you're a greedy bastard, uh, you need to be taught a lesson. It's not so much like that anymore, though. I think all society is just degenerating into this despairing,
I heard London is a
hopeless.
sophisticated and proper metropolis.
It's not.
It's like visiting a country and someone teaches you fake words as joke. Like in Kung Pao Fury, my face to your foot style.
Oh, Kung Pao Fury. Is that a film I need to watch now? I've never heard of that film. I did like I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. What was that made back in '81 or something? I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. There's a couple of those comedies. Back when back when Eddie Murphy was funny. He's not funny anymore, is he? He's rubbish now. London's not
The Scottish
sophisticated.
hate the English. You can feel it when you go up there. They don't hide it. Some Irish hate the English too.
Yeah,
History.
yeah. The Scottish and Irish, well, they're
1988, a year before I was born. Yes, Kung Pao is good.
okay. I'll check it out. Kung Pao Fury. I'll definitely check that. Let me write that down, otherwise I'll forget. Okay, my notepad. I hope it's not racist. I don't like any. Unless it's funny. Unless it's funny racism. That's what one guy says. One guy says, why is one joke offensive and another joke is accepted? Because if the people with which you're, which is victim to the joke, if they find it funny, then it's fine. But if it's not funny, then you're in deep shit.
Enter the Fist is a 2002 American martial arts comedy film that parodies Hong Kong action cinema.
Oh, if you guys,
Everything is racist, everything is sexist. It's just a matter of time.
it's just about. I was watching this. I think it was Yogi Bear. I was watching this
It's
episode.
Mel Brooks kind of racist, the light and funny kind.
Mel Brooks got away with it, didn't he? He was. How did he manage it then? I think he managed it because he was funny. If it's not funny, you're in deep shit. If you make a joke about such and such an ethnicity, such and such a race, and it's not funny, then yeah, you better not say it, not tell
Just
people.
take a look at 60s cartoons.
Yeah, I know. Like I was saying, I was watching this old Yogi Bear episode, and it was really racist. They were saying some nasty shit. And yeah, well, I'm glad it's not like
Get
that.
away with it. Raise his hand.
How did he go? Mel Brooks. No, yeah, I don't know. Nobody criticizes his stuff though. In fact, people still like his stuff. People still like his old. I think because he's associated with Gene Wilder as well. Gene Wilder is. What was Gene's real name? Jerry Silverman. Gene Wilder's real name was Jerry Silverman, but he's probably one of the most popular actors, American actors ever. But I think Mel Brooks wasn't being very. I think he was addressing racism. He was very anti-racist. Was Mel Brooks, and yeah, like I said, politics and society's taboos.
Spaceballs heals racism.
I never watched Spaceballs for some reason. I know it had Rick Moranis, I think his name, taking the piss out of Darth Vader, which is a shame because Darth Vader is one of the coolest villains ever. But if you like Hong Kong, I think I directed you guys to Journey to the West. The second one wasn't so good. The first one was all right. You must have seen Shaolin Soccer. Hilarious. I think he's become a big celebrity now in China, Stephen Chow. And his other one as well, I can't remember he's got another one. Stephen Chow's. He made a comedy about football and martial arts. Really funny. And he made another comedy about old kung fu movies. and I can't remember its name now. Check it out anyway. Check out Stephen Chow.
Have you played the new Journey to the West video game?
Oh, I think they call it Wukong, which was the name.
Shaolin Soccer, Chinese, is a 2001 Hong Kong sports comedy film directed by Stephen Chow, who also stars in the lead role.
Yeah. He's a writer and director. Very talented. He pays homage to past martial art movies.
I have seen a good amount of martial arts movies.
Yeah, you'll like Shaolin Soccer, but there's another one as well. That's really funny. He made two absolute classics. Kung Fu Hustle. That's it. I don't know why that name just. It's called Kung Fu Hustle. It's an absolute must if you're a fan of martial arts. It doesn't necessarily make fun of martial arts.
The water cooler's eyes to Korean action movies. They have rejected this red pill.
Yeah, I'm liking Korean. I think there's a growing talent in Korea. I know the Squid Game. Everyone was talking about the Squid Games. I got hold of the series, and it was genuinely well written.
BBQ sunflower pips and watch Korean action clips in our spare time.
Yeah, there's some great talent going at Korea. I think the first Korean movie I watched was that fact-based one about the guy that invented.
Isn't there a ban on the word pips?
I can't remember the name of that martial arts. What's that? What's the name of the Korean martial arts? Can I remember the name of that Korean martial arts? Well, they just kick. It's just kicks. But there was a guy that popularized it.
I didn't get the Yamin Men,
no. But I can't remember the name of this film. But it's a great biography. This Korean martial artist. It was during the occupation. Oh, yeah, terrible times.
Taekwondo is a Korean martial art.
Yeah, thank you, Taekwondo. That's it.
And kicking techniques.
That's it. Thank you, SFM. He was the how would you say? He was the father of Taekwondo. It's a film, Korean-made film about the man that popularized Taekwondo. He went around Japan and participated in tournaments using his Taekwondo, and he was so successful that it took off. But it's a great film. It's really old as well. I think it's 2002 or something. I'm trying to remember the name. I remember it's called Fighter in the Wind.
The Queen banned the word pips in 1988, the year before SFM was born.
SFM, you wasn't born in 89, were you? Man, he's a young chap. You was born in 89. What's that make you, like 22? These young whippersnappers. But yes, Fighter in the Wind. But yeah, check out Stephen Chow's Kung Fu Hustle. Hilarious. You'll love it. You'll love it. The question is, do you get the dubbed version or do you get subtitles? For me, always subtitles.
I heard rumors of this while watching Menace to Society getting my diaper changed. He was born in 1889. SFM is one of the youngest of us, but somehow got to be the oldest of us in mentality. Gladys Knight was forced to go solo.
Wow, I didn't know that. Gladys Knight. Yeah. What was that? Gladys Knight, was that like Motown? Old Motown.
This chat is going in too many directions.
that just gives it more reason to be reviewed on a later date. Gives it more reason to be reviewed, so you can go through the variety and depth of content that these live casts have. But yeah, I think that's all we have time for today. Thanks everyone for contributing. I will check out that Kung Pao Fury. Somebody, I was having breakfast somewhere, and I heard this conversation with the table next to me, and they were talking about this film, a brother from another, Undercover Brother.
Man Woman Myth was a 4th degree black belt and international PKD.
I know.
Thanks everyone.
Yeah, Man Woman Myth was a Taekwondo expert, wasn't he? Yeah. I hope he's doing all right. Does anyone know how Roland is doing? But yeah, somebody put me onto Undercover Brother. That was pretty funny. What's that other one? There's another one like that as well. I think it was that period when I wanted to find more stuff about David Chappelle.
Gracias por la transmisión en vivo.
Gracias por la transmisión en vivo.
Hebrew Hammer. He's still the same, always smiling despite his circumstances.
Yeah, I hope he's doing all right, old Roland. I hope he gets a chance to use the chessboard. That's a nice chessboard. I bought another chessboard, by the way. So I was like, well, every man needs a chessboard. Every man needs a chessboard and something you can do when there's no electricity. Some musical instrument.
We can control our attitude no matter what circumstances we find ourselves in.
That is a great summary, brother. Yes, you can control your attitude, and that's often the seed or the pip from which your more positive actions and habits.
Scrabble. Good for his brain.
Yeah, Scrabble. I could never get into Scrabble. Because there were always arguments whether or not the word was correct. You have to have like a dictionary next to you, and then it needs to be an updated dictionary, because there's the issue of whether slang words are acceptable or modern words, updated words, and then there's the Americanized words. So Scrabble was always difficult for me to get into. But yeah, thanks for all the contributions. A great chat today, wasn't
it? Makes up words.
Make some words up.
Bits of internal revolution. Shining 2024.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I think it was really nice. I think today's live was the best. Really nice to see MA, SFM, Messenger, RP, Darth, Iridium.
Rolling on the floor laughing, face with tears of joy, rolling on the floor laughing.
Yeah. If I knew it would be this happy, I would have changed it up a bit. Yeah, really nice to see everyone. So hopefully you all take something away from this. As many of you might have picked up, this is the third live cast.
This is no longer a word. No score for Pips in Scrabble.
Really? Is that the situation? Is that really true? That can't be true, brother. People say Pips all the time in Yorkshire.
Tragic.
It is tragic, yeah. Very sad. Ending in that sad note. I'll see you all again very soon. I'll have another tune for you next time as well. But like I said, this is the third one before the third in a set, which, as you all know, it'll be going what's the word? Unlisted. So if you liked it, copy and paste it on a notepad and stick it somewhere. Um, as I said before, it's not because I don't want people to listen to it. It's because I sort of like our little circle. Um, as many of you know, I'd rather not deal with the.
Foreseen.
I'd rather not deal with the hacks and the shills and the mental the the mental deficiencies that come on when you start getting thousands and thousands of in a group. It's not a negative thing on people. I mean, if you take any society, take 1,000 people from any society, you are going to get one or two morons. You are going to get one or two idiots, and you are going to get some really bad characters. So that's why it's not because I'm trying to be cool or edgy. I would really like more and more guys to embrace this message, to join us, but I'm more than happy with the group, and we've been doing this for years now. What is it now? 2024. I've been doing it for over 10 years now, well over 10 years. So yeah, I know those of you that have got thousands of subscribers, they're shit. You have to deal with. They're shit you have to deal with. So that's something that you avoid.
When Moots comes around and try to preach to the choir.
I know they come around and they start. That's a talk for another time. But yeah, thanks again for joining me. I'll see you guys all again real soon. Hopefully I'll see you guys on your own stream. I haven't seen the SFM and MA. I think Messenger might have a video on the pipeline, so I'll see you all in the chats. So take care. Have a nice morning or evening. Go out for a walk. Make it your favorite beverage, and watch your favorite TV show. So peace.